Hey guys, Jackson here and welcome back to the channel. Episode 4 of The Last of Us aired this week, and like with previous episodes, there will be a brief recap before my review of the episode. And as always, this is your spoiler warning for episode 4. We begin the episode with Joel and Ellie at a gas station, where Ellie is in the restroom checking out her new prized possession, the handgun she took from Bill and Frank's at the end of last episode. And Joel is outside, trying to siphon petrol out of old cars. After Ellie has finished making pew pew noises and examining all aspects of the gun, she joins Joel outside. Ellie is bored waiting for Joel and starts reading jokes from her pun book to Joel, who acts irritated with her but secretly enjoys them. Finally they hit the road in Bill's truck and they head towards Wyoming, on the hunt to find Tommy, Joel's brother. Joel decides to call it a day and pulls over off the side of the road and into a wooded area. They set up camp and spend the night in the woods. Joel and Ellie hit the road again and Ellie asks Joel about Tommy and why he isn't with him. Joel describes Tommy as a joiner and dreams of being a hero, before explaining to Ellie that Tommy joined the army in the past and then more recently the Fireflies before going off the radar. Joel further explains that he keeps going for family and has a duty to find his brother. Joel and Ellie arrive at Kansas City but find the main highway into the city has been blocked off. Joel is apprehensive and turns the truck around to find a different route through the city. They get lost in the city and Joel gets snappy with Ellie, who is struggling to read the map. Ellie claps back and reminds Joel she's only ever experienced being a passenger in a car for 2 days now. All of a sudden there is a man in the middle of the road begging for help. Joel knows this is a trap and tells Ellie to buckle up. Instead of helping the man like Ellie suggested, Joel puts his foot down on the gas and a weight is dropped onto the windscreen from the balcony above. As he continues to drive, his tyres are popped by portable spikes, similar to what police use, and he crashes the car into a shop. A firefight begins between Joel and the guys trying to rob them. Joel tells Ellie to hide while he finishes off the two guys. All of a sudden Joel is blindsided and Ellie saves his life by shooting the guy choking him out. Ellie is visibly shook by the events and despite Joel being mad that Ellie had the gun, is thankful she saved his life. Joel and Ellie escape out of the building and hide in a different building to lay low for a bit. This is where we are introduced to the people that are living in Kansas City, including two new characters, Kathleen, played by Melanie Lynskey, the leader of the people in Kansas City, and her second in command, Perry, played by Jeffrey Pierce, who actually played Tommy in the game. We get some backstory here and learn that the people living here are not Fedra or Fireflies, and Joel simply calls them people. However, the audience learn that they uprised against Fedra and took control of Kansas City QZ. We also learn that Kathleen is on the hunt for a person called Henry, as well as some other informants that she feels snitched to Fedra in the past and caused the death of her brother. Kathleen orders her men to search for signs of Henry and whoever killed the men earlier, the ones Joel and Ellie killed, and she believes they are working together. Meanwhile, Joel and Ellie, currently laying low in the shop, have a chat about using a gun, and Joel ends up letting Ellie keep her gun, after demonstrating to her how to hold it properly. The plan here is to head to the tall building a couple of blocks away when the coast is clear, and use the height to scout a way out of the city. Kathleen receives an update from Perry that they have found a crawl space where Nick and a child have been staying, which pleases Kathleen as she notes they appear to be out of food, and that the net is closing in on them. Perry then shows Kathleen the floor in the basement of the building, which has started to concave and crack. Even more frightening for them is there appears to be something large moving underneath it. Both Kathleen and Perry appear scared and Kathleen says to lock the building and they'll deal with it later. For anyone that's played the game, the assumption here is it could be a bloater, and we may finally see it appear next episode. The episode ends with Joel and Ellie making it up 30 plus floors in the high-rise tower, and fortify the room before setting down for the night. Ellie lightens the mood with another joke from her pun book. As they go to sleep, they are abruptly woken a few hours later by Henry and a boy called Sam, pointing a gun at them and telling them to shush. This week's episode brings the focus back onto Joel and Ellie, in what was the shortest to date, with a runtime of approximately 45 minutes. Less was definitely more as we finally get to see Joel and Ellie's relationship grow, and if you're a sucker for pun jokes then you will definitely enjoy this episode. It was also refreshing to see Joel's vulnerable side as he started to open up to Ellie, and the final scene where he breaks into laughter for the first time was fantastic. The show continues to deviate slightly from the source material, as Joel and Ellie arrive at Kansas City, instead of Pittsburgh as seen in the game. Although the show has changed location, the sequence of event is reasonably similar, except that the show gives a wider narrative to the people living there and hunting them. Newcomer Melanie Lynskey, who plays Kathleen, a brand new character to the story, did a great job in portraying her ruthlessness, and it was cool seeing Jeffrey Pierce, who voiced Tommy in the game, have a role as Perry, Kathleen's second in command. The introduction of Henry and Sam keeps the story moving in the right direction, and the switch in pace is appreciated, following last week's predominant focus on side characters, Bill and Frank. The tease of a bloater in next week's episode should also bring excitement to the fans of the game. Final score, 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about the episode. Do you agree with me or did you not like it? If you're new here, then consider subscribing to my channel for regular TV, film and gaming content, including live streams. We're currently on the road to 100 subs, and thank you to anyone that has already subscribed. And as always, I hope to see you next time.